before you are able to take your seat.
I, Benedict Esiromo Emachar, of ID number 2097850,
having been duly nominated to serve
as
County Executive Committee member of the County Government of Bungoma,
as County Executive Committee member of the County Government of Bungoma,
do hereby solemnly and sincerely swear that the information that I shall give before this committee
shall
be the truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
So
help me God.
So help me God.
You'll take your seat so that you are able to sign your oath. So welcome for this vetting process. We require to have your academic credentials, and you only have the writing part and a pen. You have a writing part?
I have pieces of paper, Mr. Chairman.
Will they be sufficient? You know, yours is very beautiful. No diary, we're not allowed.
No diary.
Yes, no.
Okay.
You need to have enough writing material. You know, you're the last nominee for today's vetting.
Yes.
And we won't mind taking you on up to 6 p.m. Yours has no time limitation. Until we finish all our questions to you, we are not bound by that 1 hour and a half. And even your questions are unlimited to the tune of around 35. So be prepared to rejoin us in.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, number 2 is that I'm the chair of the committee. I'm Honorable Emmanuel Situma. I'm the chair and the speaker.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Stephen Wafula Omalwa, MCA, member of this committee.
Chair, I'm Honorable Joseph Nyongesa Juma, member of this committee.
Chair, I'm Joan Kirong, member of this committee.
Chair, Lusanaka Anthony, member of this committee.
Evelyn Mutiembo, member.
Chair, Vitalis Wangila, member.
Honorable Masai Chemion, member.
Chair, Mhongo Barasa, a member of the committee.
Chair, Honorable George Makari, member of the committee.
I do also have my secretariat led by Chacton Kabei. Introduce your secretariat, please.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Joktan Kabei. I'm Senior Clerk Assistant Committee Services, and we are here as a secretariat who are going to do the self-introduction.
Chair, I'm Elijah Odera, Research Officer, member of the Secretariat. Chair, I'm Caroline Wamalwa, the Deputy Hansard Editor and member of the Secretariat.
Chair, I'm Edward Musumba. I'm legal counsel and also a member of the Secretariat.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Kalisa Zingira Wanjala, Chief Sergeant at Arm, a member of the Secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Ruth Wanami, Senior Clerk Assistant, member of the Secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Mash Manase Misiko, Communication Officer, member of Secretariat.
Thank you, my Secretariat. That the panel is going to interview you, that is the Committee on Appointment. So we'll ask you questions and have rejoinders seeking clarity from you. I'll be the first one to go. In summary, tell us who is Benedict Esiromo Emachar. In summary.
Chair, my name is Benedict Esiromo Emachar. I was born 60 years ago in Malakisi. Currently, I'm a resident of Kimilili. I am married. I have 3 children. I schooled in Commonwealth Primary School, where I did my Standard 7 in I schooled in Commonwealth Primary School up to 1975. Then I moved to Kimilili Boys Primary School, where I did my CPE in 1976. Mr. Chair, then I was admitted to Kibabi Secondary School in Form 1 in 1977, and I schooled up to 1980, Mr. Chair, where I passed my Form 4 exam. I proceeded to Maseno High School for my higher level education, where I schooled for 2 years, 1981 up to 1982. Thereafter, Mr. Chair, I stayed home for about 1 year, and I taught in high school as an untrained teacher. In 1984, around March or so, I was admitted to the University of Nairobi, where I did a Bachelor of Commerce degree, and I graduated in June 1987. More so, Mr. Chair, I also have training, and I'm an accountant, Part 2, which I obtained in 1982. Mr. Chair, I've worked for various companies, starting with Mumia Sugar Company in 1987 as a management trainee, basically in accounts department and in audit. Then I proceeded to Coca-Cola Africa, where I was there for 1 year. From there, I proceeded to Nation Newspapers for about 4 years, whereby I moved to Kenya Postal Directories, where I served as a credit controller from 1994 up to the year 2000. After that, I was employed as a CDF manager in Mount Elgon constituency. I served there from 2007 up to 2012. I was serving both Mount Elgon constituency as well as Kimilili constituency. But I slightly also served in CDF Butler for about a period of 4 months. Thereafter, I was employed by the county government of Bungoma as economic advisor, where I served up to 2017. When there was change of regime, we also left. And on the outside, Mr. Chair, I'm also a teacher of the Word of God. I'm also a farmer. And other activities include also, I participate also in politics, just like any other normal person.
So are you a pastor or a teacher? Because I've never had someone claim he's a teacher of the gospel.
Mr. Chair,
Are you a pastor?
it is sometimes called a pastor, sometimes a teacher. They are all fivefold ministries, Mr. Chair.
It's okay. Now, I'll have some 3-4 questions arising from your questionnaire before I allow members to ask you questions. That questionnaire was filled by you. I'm referring to page 6 of the questionnaire, question number 25.
Page 6.
In summary, can you give us a breakdown of this net worth of 28 million?
I do have it, Mr. Chair, but I recorded it in my notebook. But in summary, I have a plot in Gong worthy 8 million.
A plot, how big is it? 100 by 100 or 50 by 100?
It's 100 by 100.
100?
By 100.
Yes.
Then I have a house in Gong worthy
Yes.
4 million. I also have properties in Kimilili. I have a farm of about 5 acres where I stay in.
Which properties are in Kimilili?
It's land, Mr. Chair.
You know, give us a land of how many acres and we'll estimate on our own. You know, we are people who deal in land matters. So when you tell us land, we'll ask you the location, then we'll be able to have the estimate value of that land.
I have land in Matili
Yes.
village, that is 6 acres.
Yes.
I have,
Its value?
pardon?
Value of the land in Matili?
At the moment, an acre is 3 million shillings, Mr. Chair.
If there are 6, that is 18 million already. Yes, give us.
Then we also have an ancestral piece of land. I was given 1 acre. That's still in Matili.
Yes.
I have about
Its value? How many acres is that one? The one for ancestral land?
1 acre.
Yes.
I also have 4 plots in Kimilili.
Yes. Value of plots in community?
Currently, they are going at about 1 million, Mr. Chair.
So those are 4 million.
Yes.
Yes.
Those are the properties I have.
You don't own any bicycle or motorbike or a vehicle?
Mr. Chair, I don't have a bicycle.
Yes.
I used to have other properties, but
You don't have a vehicle?
I don't have, Mr. Chair.
You came using public?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
But now from your computation here, the one you've given us roughly is over than 28 million.
Mr. Chair, that was my estimates.
Now what you've written to me, given us in your oral, is already 28 million. 6 acres in Kimilili, those are 18 million. Plot in Ngong and the house, those are basically 8 million. When you add 18 plus this 8, it's already 26. When you talk of the extra acre in Matili, it's 1 million. The 4 plots in Kimilili, those are 4 million.
Mr. Chair, those are just my estimates.
So you stay on a tree or where in Kimilili?
Pardon, Mr. Chair?
In Kimilili, you stay in a house.
Yes.
It has no value.
It may have, Mr. Chair, negligible value.
Whether it's 5 shillings or not, it's the value.
Yes.
So it's how much?
It's about 300,000.
That house, is it made of cement or like it's made of mud?
It's made of mud, Mr. Chair.
You know, we'll confirm some of these things.
Yes.
Okay, now, look at 26B.
26B.
Explain how you resolve any potential conflict of interest, including the procedure you'll follow in determining these areas of concern. You are saying not applicable. Are you a saint?
Mr. Chair, I have not understood your question.
Read number 26 on your own. Potential conflict of interest. Then you are saying not applicable to you. Are you a saint?
No, I'm not a saint, Mr. Chair.
And I know your family is large in Kimilili.
Yes, sir.
Plus the one for Malakisi.
Yes, sir.
So you are saying in the course of your duties, you cannot encounter any conflict in your department or even people from your home areas?
Mr. Chair, now I've gotten your question.
Yes.
It's about conflicts in the places of work.
Yes.
Those ones, as an officer of government, or I've been an officer of government, if there is any conflict, I'll have to declare my interest about any kind of conflict.
But here you refuse to declare. Was it intentional?
Not intentional, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
It was a question of understanding, Mr. Chair.
Now, let's go to 31. This 31, you are telling us Pastor Peter Amata,
Yes.
then Andrew Ngeyu and Isaac Musani. Who are these people? They reside in heaven, or where do they reside?
Pastor Peter Amata is my overseer, is my pastor. He resides in...
Do you know why I'm asking that way?
No,
if
sir.
you look at your CV,
Yes.
the place for referees, they have given particulars, specific particulars, but here they're hanging. Are you getting the difference?
I see the difference, Mr. Chair.
So do we look for this Isaac Musani in heaven or where?
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
For the first two...
No, I'm on Isaac.
On Isaac?
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I didn't...
That phone number may be even the wife's phone number, the children's phone number, we don't know. Sometimes people use other people's phone numbers.
Oh, Mr. Chair, this is his phone number.
How do I know as the chair here?
Sorry for the omission of not including
It's
the box
okay,
number.
Honorable Joseph, you'll go. Yes.
Because we are dealing with the questionnaires.
Yes, please. Anything on the questionnaire, members, I think we finish before we go ahead.
Yeah, we
Honorable
yes.
Mohongo, please.
Yes, Chair, I have looked at the criteria for vetting approval of the nominee questionnaire. That is number 15. Look at number 15, where it says employment record. Chair, I need some explanation because I have referred the same to the self-declaration form on number 10, employment information. Because in the first place you have indicated your county government of Bungoma from June 2013 up to October 20, I think 17. But here you are saying not applicable. So I need some clarification from you. Look at the self-declaration.
Are we together, Benedict? Look at page number 5 of the declaration of the ESCC form. Are we together? Page number 5 of 6, number 10. Particulars on information on employment. You've said not applicable.
Mr. Chair, my understanding when I was filling question number 10 in the EACC form, my understanding was I was being asked about my current employment. And when I was filling number 15...
Look at that same number 10, box number 3 and box number 4, the content of those particulars.
Yes. I just needed clarification.
Are you seeing that basically you are to declare your previous employments?
Mr. Chair, that is what I'm understanding now.
That's what but we are now telling you.
Yes.
Date of present appointment, and the other one, which is the previous one. Date of your first appointments.
Mr. Chair, the date of present appointment is not indicated because I have not been in employment at the moment. And that is why I didn't fill the other first two columns.
It's
Mr.
okay,
Chair.
it's okay. Now that's your understanding.
Yes.
But now this thing is you are on oath.
Yes.
And interestingly, this document is commissioned.
Yes, sir.
We'll say it you for perjury, lying under oath.
Mr. Chair, it was not an intended omission.
Honorable Seneca, you had a question on the form?
Thank you, Chair. I have a question on number 20B.
specifically the last line, where he has written in 2022, campaign for His Excellency Lusaka, Honorable Wetangula, and President Ruto. So are you being rewarded because you did a good job or because you qualify for the job?
Mr. Chair, I'm not being rewarded because I did a good job. It was just part of my duties as a normal citizen that you campaign for particular leadership of your preference.
So I think it's answered. Anybody else on questionnaire, Honorable Joseph Nyongesa?
Yeah, on questionnaire number 27, on the issue of charity donations. More so I'm interested in the building of schools. If we can mention for us some schools that he participated in building, maybe.
Mr. Chair, these donations are just donations that when somebody comes like with a pro forma invoice, you donate what you can give. And also, Mr. Chair, when you participate in the normal harambes, you donate the finances that you have.
That is agreed.
Yes.
It's very okay.
Yes.
You know why it's asking? That since for the past, let me say, 30 years you've been in employment.
Yes.
There is no single place you've gone and given a donation that you can recall. You can't recall any school you've given your donation. Whether it was 5,000, 10,000, or a church project you've been able to participate in, you can't recall any.
I can't recall.
You can recall?
Yes.
For that time, you could not be able to recall. So do we say it's just basically for PR, for us to see, we pass over, what are you telling us here?
No, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
It was a general question. Have you participated in any kind of donations? So I put them...
Go ahead. They say pro bono stroke charity, donations to charity. Describe what you have done by way of pro bono charity, listing specific instances, the amount contributed, and the amount of time devoted to each. We were very specific. Now, you being a teacher, if you were to award you marks here, what would you be able to do?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
These donations that I was making are not on record. I was giving them the way the person comes to request.
If not
for
on record, then they were in the air.
Mr. Chair, they were not on air.
Yes.
Because when somebody approaches you for a donation, you just record in that piece of paper and he walks away with it.
And I'm very sure in your life as a public servant, you've received some cards inviting you to functions. You as Benedict.
Yes.
Invitations to church, fundraisings, schools, maybe hospital. You can't recall any.
I can recall some, Mr. Chair.
But that time they were nowhere to be seen. It's okay. Yes, Honorable Stephen.
Thank you, Chair. I have some question from the questionnaire here to the nominee. I've noted number 20, B. The responses attracted my attention, and I want to find out the rate at which you are changing political parties. The change of political parties, is it a trend based on interest, personal interest, or what is it that really informed this trend of New Ford Kenya? Then I can see in 2017, Jubilee, you changed. We call it party hopping or what? I don't know.
It's political prostitution.
Mr. Chair.
Just a moment.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Thank you.
And in 2022, Ford Kenya. Now, then you further down there, you can see what you said. Now, what does that try to insinuate or reflect, according to yourself, honestly? Honestly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's not really party hopping. It was at that particular time, that was the situation. In 2012, it was New Ford Kenya, and I was even coordinating certain activities in Ford Kenya. In 2017, as a citizen, Mr. Chair, I wanted to be very relevant. That's why I was in Jubilee. Then, Mr. Chair, come now, currently now. Mr. Chair, this is what is happening now.
What is happening? We are not aware of what is happening.
We are not understanding.
We are not aware of what is happening.
You are telling us sign language.
Mr. Chair.
You want us to understand which we don't understand unless you tell us.
No many.
Yes, sir.
Come clear that we understand what he's asking, because like you are teaching us sign language that currently what is happening. We don't know.
Maybe Chair combining with what Mheshimiwa Senaka asked. Maybe
Yes, so
does
the
it relate?
Seneca, what you asked and
Chair, I did ask that he said in 2022 he campaigned for His Excellency Lusaka and Honorable Tangula and President Ruto. So I was asking, it seems you did a very good job because all your candidates won, and that is why maybe you are here. In relation to what Honorable Stephen is saying, it means your calculations are always correct, because in 2012, you knew that New Fort Kenya was going to form the county government. That is why you joined, and you were, I think, given an employment
or rewarded
handsomely. I don't know what happened in 2017.
It's handsomely and beautifully.
Yeah, but in 2022, you are again on it, and that's why you are here. So it seems you have a very good network.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Probably that could be correct, because I'm not very sure how I was nominated, because the nominee, His Excellency the Governor, probably in his mind, probably. I'm not very sure.
It's okay. I think we are done. Honorable Joseph, finish that part before you go to the next questions.
Thank you, Chair. Following your introduction and following your CV, in fact, you have told us you worked in Mount Elgon CDF, Putola CDF, and Kimeli as an account manager.
Yes.
So my interest is just part of how did you exit in Mount Elgon as a manager?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My exit in Mount Elgon was basically political. I was serving in Mount Elgon as well as acting in Kimilili CDF office. But there was an issue of conflict of interest, whereby the leadership wanted me to perform certain things which were not which were not correct, which were not ethical. So there was a disagreement, and that's why he requested the CDF office in Nairobi to transfer me elsewhere. And I was transferred to Butler, CDF.
Chairman, which things maybe the...
You know, we want to have those particulars of what you are saying.
That you are being forced maybe to engage into.
Even if it was a murder case that you had to commit, tell us.
Mr. Chair, it is an issue of the leadership asking me to approve certain payments, and projects had not been undertaken, and I declined, because at the end of the day, it is me who is going to be questioned. So that's how we parted, because it's about interests.
Maybe, Chair, if we can have a proof, was it verbally or they had some written documents requesting you maybe to participate in it, so that at least if we have the written issues, then you can table for us also to be aware.
Mr. Chair, I don't have any written document, but I remember we had a meeting with the county commissioner, and the member of parliament expressed his desire that I should work elsewhere.
It's okay. Honorable Vitalis, a rejoinder?
Maybe just on what Honorable Nyongesa is saying. If there was a meeting and there was a proposal that you move elsewhere, there must be written communication taking you from where you are to where you are going. Can we be able to look at that communication?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There is a written communication from the CDF board. I don't have a copy here now, but it's a written communication transferring me from Mount Elgon to Butler. This is there, Mr. Chair.
Reasons for that stated in that transfer letter.
Mr. Chair, there are no specific indications or reasons indicated in that letter of transfer. The letter just says your duties are required in another station.
Maybe, Chair, for the benefit of this committee, before the report is written, we could have a look at that transfer letter.
Is it among the documents that are being taken around?
No, Mr. Chair.
Why do you selectively leave it out?
I will give it out.
We know our curiosity that basically if it was a genuine transfer, that letter ought to be among your documents being taken around for verification. When you leave it behind, it becomes something else in the committee.
Mr. Chair, I looked at the advert inviting me to your committee, to appear before your committee. It specified certain documents. That's why I didn't carry that particular document.
It specified what?
It specified what kind of documents I should carry along with. So that's why I did bring all the documents that your member is asking about.
It's okay, Honorable Mhongo.
But you know, Chair, my brother Majara, you need to convince this committee because something is touching on your integrity. And you are taking it so lightly that because it was not part of the documents you are supposed to carry with. You know, it is supporting your submissions. And we need to look into it so that we consider you as being suitable or not. Because at this one, at the moment, I'm having a question mark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I didn't have a single integrity issue in Mount Elgon CDF.
You know why they're asking, and I've been forced to look for the advertisement. And one of the requirements that you bring, you carry national identification card or passport, curriculum vitae, and relevant academic and professional certificates, letters, certificates of clearance. Now, when you talk of relevant and you are talking of having worked in CDF, if we are to ask you for those employment letters, we ought to verify that you are once an employee of CDF, not just by word of mouth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have those documents and I'll be able to present it to your committee.
It's okay. Now, Honorable Vitalis, you'll have your time for the two questions. Be on Hansard, please.
Thank you, Chair. I have two questions with me. One, as you know, you are going to head a very big position in this county government of Bungoma, and where we are, technology has really changed. How can information and communication technology be improved in Bungoma County for the efficiency of their office services? Two, what are some of the ways which the Bungoma County Public Service can be used to motivate, to be motivated? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the current age of information technology, information is very important and all citizens are entitled to their information. For us to improve availability of this information, we must have an interactive and a working website, such that all information that pertains to the county government should be available in the website. Also, if your committee approves me, Mr. Chair, I'll be able to institute certain aspects whereby we should have networks, even up to our ward levels, so that information is available to any citizen who requires that information. Mr. Chair, I didn't quite well get the question number 2. May I request?
Honorable Vitalis.
Chair, I just wanted to know how our nominee, in case he's approved, the ways he might be used to motivate the Bungoma County Public Service to be motivated.
First of all, when approved, if approved, I'll be able to have in place what we call the schemes of service, so that each employee or in the county government of Bungoma will be able to know their career progression. I will also be able to put in motivational aspects whereby the workplaces of the employees is conducive. I also have to put in place an aspect of coordination whereby those in senior management have regular meetings and coordinate well with the employees. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So I'll have Honorable Makari.
Thank you, Chair. Before I come with the question, Chair, this file has a very curious omission, and this omission touches on CDF. I think Chair will revisit this, because I wonder why a full file that has other documentation and correspondence from various institutions can lack a critical component like that one of employment by the CDF board. Even the letter of employment is not there. Even the letters of movement from one station to another, they are not included, Chair. So, Chair, this is a curious omission, I think, which this committee needs to find out.
Honorable George, it cannot be an omission. Yes. It's intentional because in his CV, page number 3, he's been able to state that he worked for a CDF.
But
if
Chair,
he worked for CDF...
Chair, don't you think such information also, the papers must be included in this?
They must be there to support that position.
They must be there to support this.
In the absence, then presumption of something else will take place.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I've said before, that information or those letters are available, and Mr. Chair will be able to present.
What we are imagining, if you are to keep them away, you could have equally expunged employment on CDF out of your CV, so that it's not part of your CV anywhere.
Mr. Chair, it's a truism that I worked for CDF, and Mr. Chair, I have those documents and will be able to present to your committee, sir.
So, okay, Honorable Bakari, now proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Benedict, at that time you were working with CDF, I was entering CDF at that almost particular time. Who was the acting CEO of the CDF board? And now he's the substantive chief executive officer.
The acting CEO of the CDF board, Mr. Chair, was Mr. Bruno.
Is that the first name?
Pardon, Miss?
First name?
I don't remember, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I also left at almost the same time like you, but I can still remember the name of the CEO, the acting CEO.
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Butiam, you are out of order.
Was called Yusuf Mbuno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So you see, I've assisted you. Now, what are some of the notable achievements that you can say you achieved when you are the advisor to the governor for the period you served as the economic advisor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are several aspects are achieved in Bungoma County as working as an advisor as economic advisor to the governor of Bungoma. But notably, one, I participated in the enactment of the laws that created the World Development Fund. Also, I participated effectively in the Lake Region Economic Bloc that is based in Kisumu. And I also had liaison with several partners, especially so the World Bank, whereby I participated fully in the Kenya Devolution Support Program of the World Bank that brought in the funds to the county government of Bungoma. Also, Mr. Chair, I was instrumental in the automation of revenue in the county government of Bungoma. Those are the notable aspects which I can remember.
Just one rejoinder. Are you telling us that this World Development Fund is anchored in a non-law?
Pardon, Mr. Chair?
This World Development Fund,
Yes.
is it anchored in any non-law in Bungoma County?
There is a policy for that, Mr. Chair, which was approved by the Assembly of Bungoma. It is there.
Is a policy in place?
Yes, it is there. It was there in place that time.
So it disappeared on the way between 2017 and 2022? Because I've never seen it.
Mr. Chair, I may not be able to know.
Honorable Makari, you are done?
No, one more thing, Chair. Now, Emachar,
yes, sir.
Why do you think you can rise from an economic advisor to a CEC? Why do you think you qualify just to skip from an economic advisor and then all of a sudden you are a CEC in the county government of Bungoma?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a wealth of experience in managerial and administrative matters, having worked for more than 20 years in various companies. I've been an advisor to the governor of Bungoma in the period before 2017, and of the processes in this particular county government of Bungoma, which is ours. And Mr. Chair, I have a wealth of experience in coordination and leadership in terms of liaison between department and department.
Wouldn't that have been better served in your former position as economic advisor?
Mr. Chair, I may not say so, because we have our captain, who is His Excellency the Governor. He knows best which player plays which position. He nominated me for this particular position. So I'm capable of playing this position if approved as CEC Public Administration.
Okay, Emachar, who is your counterpart at the national level in the Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Public Administration?
Mr. Chair, my counterpart in the national government is Honorable Aisha Jumwa.
And the PS in the said ministry?
Mr. Chair, we have a nominee in that ministry called Mr. Amos Gatecho.
All right, Chair, back to you.
Thank you, Honorable Stephen.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I have two questions to the nominee. But first of all, I want to pose this to him. That as you look forward to being nominated and approved by this House to hold that position as a CCM, do you think it's important to provide to this Honorable House any information as required by law, any information, and that no person will hinder you from exercising your duty as an officer into providing required information to this assembly, especially, or if I may mention, because in the last assembly and last government, the second government of Bungoma, when this assembly requested or demanded for information like payroll of the human resource, because it's under that docket, it was difficult to come by. And very many excuses were given. Sometimes the CSM sends chief officers here who come and cry. They start crying like babies here. and the chief officer cries, and the CS runs away, feigns sickness, and travels very far. Now, will you still do that if approved, or you'll be ready to provide information, like, for example, the payroll of the workers of this county, because this house should know the number of workers in this county so that we can ensure that resources and money is spent prudently for the benefit of the people. That's one. Another issue is about the payroll. The payroll and the number of staff in departments. Those two. Maybe if I ask the questions, can you inform this committee and the House that you will not, or you will, fail to provide such information?
Mr. Chair, I will provide all the information that I'll be called upon to provide to the County Assembly. Any kind of information without any hindrance, including even certificates of employees, any kind of information I'll be able to provide to the County Assembly. First of all, as a duty, because I'm bound to provide any required information to this county and in this County Assembly, and including even number of staff, I'll be able to, or I will, once called upon, without any hindrance.
So you will not give excuses like the county secretary has refused and it is him to approve the list before it comes to the assembly. You are assuring this committee that you will not give excuses when that time comes.
Mr. Chair, I'm assuring this committee I'll provide all the required information that I'll be called upon to give to the County Assembly.
Very well. Then my first question now comes. The second County Assembly prepared and submitted a report on the status of county movable assets, whose findings were not pleasant. If approved for appointment to this position, what measures will you take to preserve county assets, more so those whose status were made known in the report? These are vehicles, motor bicycles, tractors, and very many others, including the vehicles that number plates had changed from being county assets to private assets. That's question number one. Can I give you the second, or I wait?
Mr. Chair, I think, can I answer that one first?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As regards all assets of the county government of Bungoma, first of all, if approved, I'll be able, first of all, to go and find out where those assets are. Where are they situated, where are the vehicles situated, which are the buildings, what does the county government own? After I've ascertained so, I'll be able now to work out ways on how those assets can be secured. Where are they stored? Where are these vehicles? Who owns them? What is their state? If they are in deplorable conditions, we'll be able to repair them. So that's what I'll do, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Honorable Stephen.
Thank you. Another question. From experience, the Office of the Governor, which squarely falls in the purview of the docket on which you have been nominated for appointment, has had a record number of unsurrendered imprests. Unsurrendered imprests. It's cancer, I should say. It's a cancer, a big one that is killing this county. Contrary to the PFM Act, if approved, how will you address such cases and what will be the way forward in terms of imprests management? How will you manage?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The issues of imprest are an issue of, that I know it is a motive, but we have procedures and laws that govern imprest. First of all, you cannot take one imprest when one is not surrendered. So I have to follow the strictness of the law. If you have not surrendered one imprest, then you cannot take another one. But in case you have misused the imprest, we'll surcharge you according to the law.
But Mr. Emachar, remember you have had predecessors who also said that. Maybe for you, you can quote that law that one must follow so that you can ensure that you are doing the right thing. Which law? And bearing in mind that your predecessors have said whatever you are saying now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The law is the PFM Act. And I assure you, I will do things according to the law. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Stephen. Honorable Chemion.
Thank you, Chair. I have two questions. The first one is on the task force report. You must have heard of a report that was presented to His Excellency the Governor by the task force. I just want to narrow down to the issue of village admins. You know what the report says about what happened? What do you say about the recommendations of that task force about village administrators?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've had a chance to read the report, the task force report, in particular as regards village admins. I know there are so many issues that govern the appointment of village administrators. Some were not even, could have not been qualified to be appointed, and some could even be over age. So the first thing I will do is to study the report in full. After studying in full, and in conjunction with the Public Service Board, because that is the recruitment body, and even in conjunction with the County Assembly, we'll be able to identify, I know the way forward of how to handle this issue.
Honorable Chair, sorry for interruption. The nominee has referred that he's going to work with the County Public Service Board on the issue the Honorable Chemion has asked. If I may understand better, is he aware that it is the same County Public Service Board that messed up the recruitment process of the village administrators? If they are the ones who initiated the wrongs, how are you going to collaborate and work with them to correct the mess?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first task I will do is to understand the subject matter, because I have also, because there are several figures that are flying around about issues of village administrators. And I have to understand how they are recruited. That is the extent of my working with them. And know where are the minutes that recruited these people. Did the Public Service Board follow the procedures that were required? What are the terms and conditions that brought around these people? So pardon me, Mr. Chair.
They're asking you a very simple question. For example, in cases where, there was no advertisement, there was no application for the village administrator, there was no shortlisting of those individuals, there was no interview of those people, but they have letters of employment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm a believer of the rule of law. These people are village administrators, are still our brothers and sisters in this county. If you are recruited abnormally or in a wrong way, the law will follow its own course. For those people who are bona fide village administrators, they will continue in employment.
It's okay, Honorable Stephen. Sorry, it was a Chemion, sorry.
Somebody is having a mic. Okay, thank you. Our nominee, Mr. Emachar, how can you ensure that there will be existence of good working relationship between county, sub-county, ward, village levels? Because the the coordination is not up to date, and even maybe working relationship between those officers in the county, the sub-county, ward, and the village level. And also, how will you ensure that those officers who are at the ward level relate well with the honorable members? Because we have the honorable member of the ward and we have the administration wing. And sometimes there have been issues. How are you going to handle that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll have to enhance coordination in terms of administration, whereby we'll have frequent meetings with the people at sub-county and ward levels. Also, I have to institute in place what I can call schemes of service. Some of these people are just employed. They don't know even how their career is going to progress. So they have to be motivated, so that I put in place a scheme of service. As regarding the working relationship between them and the honorable members of the county assembly, I understand and I know the ward admins have offices. It could even be a good idea, because we're in the same government. Why don't I approach the county assembly to approve payment, so that instead of having just a single office of a ward administrator, we can have both offices on the different wing of the honorable member of county assembly and the ward administrator, because we are all working for the same government. And still the same, I will encourage consultation, because these are leaders. Leaders have to be consulted on any matter, on projects, on disputes. I will encourage consultation between the members of the county assembly and the sub-county and the ward administrators.
Honorable Kirong?
I'm ready. Honorable Kirong is still looking for.
It's okay, Honorable Mhongo?
Yes. Thank you, Chair. My question will be, it will be related to what Mheshimiwa Jimiona has just asked and how my brother Emajara has just responded. But before I do that, Honorable Chair, I have looked at the CV of one Emachar, Benedict, and I have come across in December 1989 to April 1990, he was the deputy internal auditor at Mumias Sugar Company. The duties are there. I have also looked at the in January 1989 to December 1989, assistant to purchasing manager. That is Mumias. You are an assistant purchasing manager in Mumias. The duties are here. And that now brings a question. Mumias is no more. Could that, the foundation you laid, would have also contributed to the collapse of Mumias, or what is it? Because it is not there as we are talking now. And if it is there, I don't know how it is being managed, but that is my understanding. And then secondly, when you look at your CV again, on the other activities, other achievements you have gotten, could lead to this appointment of yours, the position we are nominating you, because you served as a chair of Iteso Welfare Association and patron of Bungoma Teso Residents Association, could also have contributed to your nomination. Because I need some clarification before I come to my question. Or I can just move on my question so that we will respond all of them at once.
Let me clarify first before you can seek the substantive question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was in Mumia Sugar Company for a period of about 2 years. And basically, it was a kind of a training. We were moved from department to department. I was in management accounts, I was in purchasing, and I ended up being a deputy internal auditor. Mr. Chair, that was 1990. That is pretty about 30 years ago. Mumias collapsed just the other day. Mr. Chair, was not a contributor to the current situation.
But as you're answering, you know, we are looking at your CV.
Yes.
There's nothing called management trainee before the title of deputy internal auditor or assistant to purchasing manager. There's no indicator basically you are a trainee. So he's asking, that foundation you laid, is it the one responsible for collapse of Mumias or what?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I was not responsible for the collapse of Mumias Sugar Company.
We ought to know because you may end up bringing out the government of Bungoma.
Mr. Chair, I was not responsible for the collapse of Mumias Sugar Company.
Yes, now, Honorable Mohongo, now you can ask us a 20 question.
Chair, you know, the previous administrations we have had, that one of Honorable Ken Makelo Lusaka from 2013 to 2017, and the previous one of Honorable Wangamati. They preferred to lease offices and spending billions and billions of monies from the exchequer. In your opinion, if you will be approved, what steps will you take, or what measures will you take to ensure that we cut costs? Instead of spending billions, we can use the same billions and then construct offices for the county government of Bungoma permanently, and then we listen to the wastage. The second question is, I'm made to understand that they are also paying rent for the deputy governor, the governor's residence, and the county first lady is also another expenditure. What measures will you put in place if you will be approved by this honorable house, so that we don't incur a lot of wastages? As you respond, I will give you a suggestion after you have responded. Respond first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The issue of paying rent where it is not warranted is an issue I have to look into very critically. And that's why initially in my presentation I said, why should you construct offices, for example, for ward admins, while the members of the county assembly are renting offices? Why don't we convert, with the permission of the county assembly, we construct buildings so that we reduce the issues of renting where it is not necessary? And even at county level, we have to look at the necessity for offices. Is it really necessary for us to rent these offices? If it's not necessary, then we have to cut down on the cost of unnecessary rents. Mr. Chair, as regards...
Chair, as on that one, you know, Mr. Machara is forgetting that when they started maybe renting those buildings, he was the economic advisor. What was your advice on it? Because it started in your regime.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Economic advisor is an advisor, but the consumer is my boss. I've advised on several issues.
So, what are you telling us?
I'm saying I advised, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
But implementation...
What was your advice?
It was unnecessary to have some of these offices. We could just rationalize stuff and say, this ones can fit here, let us have these ones here.
At the time of signing the contract of the lease tenancy, you are still part of the team that did negotiations and you are able to have the same contract executed.
Mr. Chair, I was not part of the team. It is the legal advisor in that matter when it comes to signing of contracts. So
that was the legal advisor getting advisory from the economic advisor.
No,
because
sir.
you are sitting together in the same office, if I recall very well.
That's true, sir.
Yes.
But
Chair, was the advice in written or was verbal?
Your advisory, they're asking, was it in writing or verbal?
It's verbal.
how do you advise verbally in such a magnitude issue?
Mr. Chair, it is...
Or you're just called, you say what you want to say, and you walk away. Honorable Luseneka.
Did he have an office himself at that particular time?
He had an office.
And where was it? Was it rented one?
Mr. Chair, we used to have an office. We were sitting in a pool of about 4 or 5 people.
Advisors.
Advisors.
Because I don't know if your counterpart that office was a legal advisor.
Yes.
And used to consult so much.
Yes. So we were just in a pool and we were not sitting, it was not in a rented office, Mr. Chair.
It's okay.
So, Judge, as it comes to the conclusion, I think you know Kapchai sub-county. In Kapchai sub-county, there is a structure behind the shops on your way to Kimiriri that was constructed. Because I want you now to prove if we will approve you. There is a structure that was constructed by the so-called former councillors. It's just there. People of my church, that is Salvation Church, they are the ones using it. And yet, the sub-county, this is a big one. We can even petition and have more than 4 or 5 offices there. But you will find the sub-county is on a structure, the revenue department on its own. So you, at the end of the day, they are spending a lot of money from the county government of Bungoma. So my brother, when things go well, I don't know whether it will be approved or not, but please start with the Kapchai sub-county so that I will now see that you have some seriousness in handling this.
He's pleading his case, don't worry about that one.
Thank you.
I want to plead the case of the entire MCS.
Here on the same note.
Before that, you come in, Honorable Seneca. Benedict.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
When I sit here as the speaker, I'm aware some of my honorable members sitting in this plenary don't have their offices. Some are having office put up in the first regime, others may be part in the second regime, but majority of them don't have offices for their ward offices. How do you want to handle such a situation where you partly fund some of the offices, others are yet to be completed? You acquired some portions of land, but no offices have been put up for them.
Mr. Chair, if approved, I have to come in and do an inventory assessment regarding all those offices that were constructed and were not complete. In situations where they were not complete, I have to seek the approval of the county assembly for finances to complete those structures. Because I will not encourage misuse of resources. You just dump resources into a structure that we are not using. All structures that have been constructed should be put in use for the benefit of the people of Bungoma. So that's what I will do, Mr. Chair.
There was a question by Honorable Mohongo, you did not answer it, about the listing of the residency of the First Lady, the office of the First Lady, the Governor, and the Deputy Governor. What is your take on those issues?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I may not...
Vis-a-vis the SRC circular, providing timelines of leasing of the Governor's residence, Deputy Governor's residence, and having their offices, the resident constructed.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the current SRC circular has a stipulation where it says that the Deputy Governor, as well as the Governor, are to be provided with housing. It says so. As for the First Ladies, I'm not aware, Mr.
That circular, I think, is overtaken by events, if you don't know. They have stopped providing for residency for the Governor and Deputy Governor. The time frame was to be 30th of June, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for that information. I'll follow up.
Okay. Honorable Kirong, no, you can go now.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Emajar, if this House will approve you to be the CEC, Public Administration, and if the County Assembly will request any relevant information or clarity from your department, will you appear or present document before the committee as it is required?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I've said before, I will be readily available to appear at any time as requested by the County Assembly to give any kind of relevant information and even any kind of documents that they may require from my department if approved.
I think it's very clear on Pokirong, but be aware that they are asking because your predecessor had a tendency of avoiding bringing documents before this committee, especially the payroll, for verification, and I think the human resource manuals for their verification. So they're asking because they know the culture in the executive where you're going to go to if we approve you. Honorable Mutiembu.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I had a question concerning the ward offices of which you have already raised. The nominee has responded and I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Yes, please. It's been responded to? It's okay. Think any rejoin the honorable members if you are done? Honorable Joseph?
Honorable Speaker, I haven't asked my question.
Sorry, Honorable Joseph, we can wait for Seneca to take up. Sorry, Honorable Seneca, you ask your question, please.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I have two questions. One, we have some ward offices that were constructed, and unfortunately some foreigners moved in. If you are confirmed, how will you handle such a situation? A case in point is that in Bungoma West Ward, we have an office that was constructed, and before completion, some, policemen moved in and is being occupied. It was changed to a police station. So I don't know how you'll handle that in case you move to that office. Question number two, I am very sure that when we approve you to head this important sector, within a month or two, you will have so many CVs on your desk, people seeking for employment. Given your wealth of experience in accounting, which translates into public finance, and going by your previous role in this county, what is your take on the current wage bill and staff establishment, putting in mind that we are already way above? I think we are at 40-something percent. How do you do so that we comply with the law on issues touching wage bill? And lastly, in this county, I don't think we have an official website for the county. The one that the first governor was using 2013 to 2017. When he moved out of the office, it was closed. When you look at the website that was being used from 2017 to 2022, it also closed. So I'm wondering if we want maybe to do some comparison or some audit. We don't have an official website. So when you get to office, will you have an official website for the county? Or each governor will have his? Once you leave office, you leave with everything. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Benedict. Yes, it's on. Just take this one there. Just hold on. Chirongis? Yes, proceed.
The assets of the county government of Bungoma and really established what are the circumstances that made this particular ward office that was constructed using the County Government Act funds being converted to a police station. What were the circumstances and what really happened? I'll have to investigate and find out. Mr. Chair, it is true, the aspect of the wage bill in Bungoma County is one thing. We have now excess of slightly more than 50% of the wage bill as opposed to the approved of 35%. The first thing I have to undertake is to rationalize staff, to find out how the staffs were recruited, are they necessary, are they even there physically. We are talking about a physical count, a staff count. We have to establish whether these people exist or they do not exist. I know the issue of casuals is also a motive. It's also contributing to this wage bill. There are so many issues about the wage bill. Some are in court. I'll have to study all those reports and establish the bona fide employees of bona fide casuals so that we see how we can bring down the wage bill. And we'll encourage recruitment from within so that we have staff promotions instead of recruiting from outside. It is cheaper to promote existing staff than recruit fresh from outside. As regards the website, there is a website for the county government of Bungoma, but it's not up to date. And I will have to ensure, if approved, that we have an official and interactive website for the county government of Bungoma. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Joseph. You had a rejoinder.
Chairman, it was just a concern. You know, Chairman, we were here during the handover in 2017 when the government where Mr. Imachar was the economic advisor. Again, we are here witnessing what's happening within our county. There is this character, Chairman, that is emanating in our county and is growing day and night. That there's a lot of harassment in between staffs based on where you are aligned during political issues. So as the CEC, if maybe court wishes that it will be approved, what kind of sanity will you bring on board so that at least we have that respect and working conditions that will allow staffs to freely engage?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Every employee or staff of Bungoma County Government is a staff of the County Government of Bungoma, regardless of political affiliation. I will be able to encourage the coexistence of all staff members, regardless of who one supported politically. There will be no kind of harassment. Of course, we've been victims before, but we'll not carry it forward. That one, I assure you, Mr. Chair, will handle all persons as long as they have qualified for the jobs that they are undertaking.
Chair.
Yes, Honorable Barasa.
It is just a rejoinder of what
Honorable Muhongo's question. Sorry, Joseph.
You know, I think, Ndugu Machara, you were here in 2013 up to 2017. Did you come across a case where one of the honorable members was slapped at the governor's office? It was there. If not, somewhere in a meeting. I think you are aware. Did you come across it?
I may not remember, Mr. Chair.
Are you feigning because of age again?
Pardon, Mr. Chair.
Are you saying that because of age you can't recall?
No, sir.
Yes.
That's a bit unfortunate, Mr. Chair. But we stay we have the rule of law. If anybody misbehaves anywhere, the law has to take its own course.
It's okay. I think to that level, it brings to an end to our day session for vetting. We are grateful for you honoring our summons to come before the committee for vetting. I think you could, and since you are a teacher or a pastor, you can have your prayers. The committee is going to retreat and consider all your answers given to us here unanswered and make its proper recommendations to the Excellency, whether you are suitable or not suitable accordingly. You are free to go home at your own pleasure. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Oh, this was mine. They are mine. Uko salama. Haijakuwa mbaya sana.